So, welcome to Black Ass News. I'm your Black Ass News host, Tanisha Mercer. I'm going to go over the Black Ass News midday edition. So, what is popping off midday, right? What's going on? Because we got to keep, we got to keep our foot on folks' necks, right? And the news is constantly changing. So, I appreciate y'all tuning in, but let's get it. Let's get with it. So, number one, the big thing is that manager elected to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has given Iran an 8 p.m. deadline. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, April the 7th, right? Giving them an 8 p.m. deadline to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, okay? And I mean a total reopening. Now, right now, there are some countries that are getting through, right? But they're paying like up to a $2 million toll, and Iran is being really selective about who gets in and who doesn't. They've said that if you have any ties to the US or Israel, you're not getting through, right? They've said that if you've done anything negative to Iran, baby, you're not going through. But they are charging like up to 2 million in Chinese yuan, right? So some people are getting through, but the US is not. Any US tankers are not getting through. That man said reopen the strait by 8 p.m. Now this latest threat, this threat first came on Easter Sunday. You know, and it's crazy because not on the Lord's Day, not on the one of the holiest of Christian holidays on Easter, not the day that Jesus Devante Christ rose from that tomb, hallelujah, rose from that tomb after 3 days in the tomb, right? It's called Resurrection Sunday for a reason. But that man on Resurrection Sunday, I would think the president of the United States would have better things to do. I would think that, he would be worried about maybe the Easter, the White House Easter egg, you know, Easter egg hunt. I would think that. But no, he got on Truth Social and was tweeting all kind of profanities about Iran reopening the strait, or he just all kinds of profanities, things that, look, you lead a cussing to me, okay? I don't need my president to do any cussing. I need my president to be real diplomatic. It's clear it's missing with this man. And like I keep telling y'all, my forever president, Barack Obama, would never, baby, my forever VP and 2024 presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, baby, she'd never. We would not be in this mess if folks had decided to do the right thing. Let's be clear. I'm amongst the 92%, okay? And we also have the 87% of black men who voted. This ain't our fight because we did what we were supposed to do at the polls, right? So now we're sitting by looking at everything going to straight shit, okay? It's going to shit. And the crazy part is that unfortunately people are going to be unalive. You've got military. He's sending reportedly, thousands of military to the region, right, to fight this war over oil, a manufactured war, the United States of Israel. So that y'all know where I fall on the political spectrum, because y'all might not know. In case there are people who have never seen my face before, this is not a MAGA friendly channel, okay, not at all. And so unfortunately, this is going to be something of epic proportions. And because Iran has been preparing for this for decades, they have been under US sanctions for decades, right? They have you got regular, average, everyday people who are in the street. They in the street, armed and ready. Okay. Did you see the same videos that I saw? I don't, maybe you didn't, because there's definitely like some things are being shown in the media and some things are not being shown in the media. We're getting definitely a lot of US propaganda. Now we are getting some Iranian propaganda as well. But the news that the most of the US public is seeing is definitely propaganda. I'm not even in the US, so I have to look at different news sources, and I'm seeing different news sources. I'm seeing French media, I'm looking at uh, Iranian media. I'm looking at media in Russia, media in Asia, media in India. It's a lot of different media that I'm looking at, right, to get a more of um, a bigger grasp of everything. Al Jazeera, that's my boo. Okay, Al Jazeera is my boo, and I'll just say that right now. I'm getting a lot of my news from those sources because we know that the president, that man that y'all elected president, has basically depoted the media, and that's crazy, especially considering the fact that I used to be in the media. It's crazy considering the fact that this man will basically have all kind of lawsuits against the media. It's crazy the level of control. So we've got to go to other sources. But what Al Jazeera, speaking of Al Jazeera, what Al Jazeera is reporting now, this man basically he reaffirmed, basically tweeting again that Iranian civilization, quote, will die. And he reaffirmed his commitment to attack that region again, attacking power plants, bridges, and structures within Iran if the 8 p.m. deadline passes. Now, again, this is officially, I guess, day 39. It feels like day 532 because it's a lot, y'all. Gas prices is higher than 3 or 4 giraffe Gucci's, okay? Oil is crazy. The amount of money that we're paying in oil, the amount of money per barrel is crazy right now. That has a direct impact on what Americans are paying at the pump. I am hearing now different places will have different prices, but I talked to my homegirl yesterday in Atlanta, and she's saying gas for the cheap one is like $3.89 a gallon. That's a lot. I can only imagine what people in other areas of the region are paying. Gas is expensive right now, and it's not going to get any cheaper if this thing continues to go on. But the crazy thing about it is, and look, I'm again reading according to Al Jazeera. Now, my thing would have just, hold on, y'all, would have just ended. What is this doing? Um, Let me go back on here. But Al Jazeera is reporting that, the Iranian media has basically said that Iran, according to the Iranian media, Iran has promised that if that they will continue the attacks, that they are not backing down. Iran has said that they plan to continue attacking not only the US, but also its allies. And they came back with like a whole plan. Iran said, look, we want reimbursement for this war. Okay. They said, you've got to promise that you will not start the war over again. We don't want the war to restart in like 10 business days. They said the US must pay. They must pay, right? They said a lot of things. And they came back with their own list of demands to Trump, right? They really did. So I'm going to read to you. Hold on, y'all. If I can, this is like what happens when you're recording live, things just don't quite work out right. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So the breaking news is that, they're going to continue these attacks. Why is my thing not working? They're going to continue these attacks. They're going to also attack allies in the region. This is going to be larger than just the US. And they also promise that oil will continue to be sky high. Gas and oil will continue to be sky high for as long as possible. Y'all, we are going to be the ones to have to pay for this at the pump. We're going to have to do some strange things for a piece of change, okay? Yeah. It's crazy when you think about it because they're estimating, analysts estimate that gas could be anywhere from $7 to $10 USD per gallon, y'all. Per gallon before this thing is over, if at all. But this is definitely not the first time that Trump has set a deadline and then kind of, backed away from it, right? Well, what we know is that Iran is continuing to troll this man. They've come out with all these videos. And when I say they're bangers, like I'm like, who, y'all dropping bars. Iran is literally dropping bars, coming out with these cartoon and animated videos with these rappers, and I promise you, it's actually absolutely hilarious. To be honest with you, it's real funny, y'all. But they're coming out with all of these things, and yeah, it's definitely funny, and they got a lot of jokes. But at this point, that Iran has not asked, that's the wrong word. They've demanded that the US not attack civilian areas, right? Because they don't want their people unalived. And they've again come out with their own list of demands. They've said, well, listen, if you can demand that the Strait opens, baby, we can put some demands on you as well, talking about the US. So we're looking again, 8 p.m. tonight. They said that's the deadline. 8 p.m. tonight. Trump has said that 8 p.m. tonight is the deadline for the Strait of Hormuz to reopen. Now, just as a recap, we know the Strait of Hormuz controls 10 to 20%, 20% of the world's oil supply flows through that region. Iran controls it all, right? And the crazy part about the reason why this is so important from an economic perspective, and the reason why Iran really has the US by the balls, right? By its USA balls, is because there's been like a 50-year-old agreement, right? Between the US and Saudi Arabia. That agreement basically said that any country that would buy oil coming through the Strait of Hormuz would pay for it in USD. That has helped prop up the US economy. It's done a lot of good things for the quote unquote good things for the US economy. The problem with this war is Iran is like, nope, nah, baby, you're not coming through. Nah, baby, you're not doing it. You're not paying in USD. It basically fucked up that whole damn agreement, y'all. Okay. So what this now means, and also Europe is reportedly considering paying for oil in euros, right? Which would be crazy. Not crazy in a bad way, but what happens if you let one country pay in their own local currency, then you might have to let the other ones pay too. So it would totally end this agreement that these countries would have to pay in USD, which could devalue the dollar. This is why the stock market has been going insane, y'all. The stock market has been crazy for the past month and some change because of this reason. The stock market is definitely a lot of it is based on how the US dollar is doing. Or when oil goes up, when the price of oil goes up, the US dollar goes down, does the opposite. So, yeah, this is one reason why you've got stock market analysts, you've got all these folks who are closely watching this situation, y'all, and monitoring it. Because what does it mean if the US dollar gets devalued? It means a potential global economic crash. It means a crash of the stock market. It means a lot of things, none of which are likely to be good. So we're all watching this to see how this thing is going to go. Make sure you stay tuned to Black Ass News for the latest updates, right? We will see what happens after 8 p.m. But again, that man that gave Iran until 8 p.m. No telling if he's going to back down. This is like the fourth or fifth time that he's backed down. Okay. Now he's saying it's real, it's legit. And he's promising to end, quote unquote, end civilization in Iran if that deadline comes and goes. But we're going to see what happens. Stay tuned to this channel for the latest and updates. Don't forget to like, comment, y'all, and share. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Okay, stay tuned to Black Ass News for the latest and updates. I will talk to y'all next time. Have a good black ass. Good rest of your black ass day.